The nanny's daughter ran abroad while pregnant, and I covered all her living expenses. 5 years later, when she returned to the country, my husband, who was performing a heart transplant operation on me, slowly put down the scalpel with a low and hoarse voice. Pause the operation, I'm going to pick her up. Due to the departure of the chief surgeon, I died on the operating table. Only after my death did I realize that they were the real male and female protagonists in the novel. And I was the cannon fodder supporting female character in the XX is on hold, I'm going to pick her up literature. They lived a happy and affectionate life on the bones of my body and at the cost of my whole family's lives. Fortunately, God has eyes, and I was reborn on the day the female protagonist ran away while pregnant. This time, I took decisive action immediately and cut off the financial lifeline of the male and female protagonists. What a joke. A gigolo and a green tea bitch actually have the nerve to stage the plot of the coquettish wife running away while pregnant and the domineering CEO's forced love in front of me. Pick. In this life, I will definitely make you two pick up poverty for the rest of your lives. Pause the operation, I'm going out for a while. Before losing consciousness, lying on the operating table, I heard my husband, Pei Xiaoyun, say these words. The nurse tried to stop him. Dr. Pei. Miss Tang's operation can't be delayed. Pei Xiaoyun turned and walked out, saying coldly, all she'll miss is just an operation. But Cece is returning to the country with the child, she's unfamiliar with the place, if I don't pick her up on time, she'll be scared. Without waiting for the nurse to say anything more, he opened the door and left. The last thing I saw was Pei Xiaoyun's tall and resolute back. I died during the heart transplant operation performed by my husband himself. After opening me up, he paused the operation to pick up Lin Cece, who had returned to the country. He was worried that she would be scared in a strange place, but he wasn't worried that I would die during the operation. On the verge of death, countless pieces of information flooded my mind. At that moment, I finally understood that my husband, Pei Xiaoyun, actually belonged to Lin Cece, because they were the male and female protagonists of this world, and I, Tang Shuyan, was just a cannon fodder supporting female character. No wonder such an extremely ridiculous thing as pausing the operation could happen to me. I laughed bitterly. In the last second before my consciousness dissipated, the overwhelming sense of absurdity briefly replaced my hatred. In the dark, a series of voices flashed through my mind. The board meeting is cancelled. I'm going to pick her up. The flight is cancelled. I'm going to pick her up. The operation is paused. I'm going to pick her up. I used to read such novels as entertainment, but now, I've become the biggest joke. Lin Cece was the daughter of my family's nanny. She had lived in my house since she was 5 years old, and I had always treated her like a younger sister. 5 years ago, at my engagement banquet with Pei Xiaoyun, she got lost and accidentally entered Pei Xiaoyun's room while he was drunk, and they had a relationship. Not long after, she found out that she was pregnant. She was just 18 years old at that time. And there were still 6 months left before the college entrance examination, but she gave up her studies because of the pregnancy. I asked her who the father of the child was, but she refused to say. I asked her to have an abortion and continue her studies, but she also refused. She just kept stroking her belly and crying silently. He's also alive. I can't be so heartless as to abort him. I want to give birth to him. She had always been kind, not even willing to step on an ant. I also really liked this rare quality in her. Since I couldn't persuade her, I stopped trying. When she and her mother begged me to send her abroad to have the baby, I agreed. I let her live in my house abroad, and I covered all the expenses for her and her son's food, clothing, housing, and transportation during the 5 years they were abroad. From my perspective, I was just doing my best to help the younger sister I recognized. It wasn't until I died that I realized I was just a part of the male and female protagonists' love drama. On the day the pregnant female protagonist returned to the country, my role came to an end. The intense unwillingness made it impossible for me to rest in peace. Unexpectedly, after a flash of white light, I was back on the day Lin Cece ran away while pregnant. Sister Shuyan, thank you for coming to see me off. I'm about to leave. You must take good care of your health in the country. When I opened my eyes, I found myself at the airport, and in front of me was Lin Cece, the daughter of my family's nanny and the female protagonist of this world. Now, she was about to board a plane to the United States, with a 3-month-old fetus in her belly. It's so good to be reborn at this time. Seeing that I didn't speak, Lin Cece stepped forward and hugged me, saying sweetly, "Sister, I'll miss you." I resisted the urge to push her away, suppressed the surging nausea, and said in a low voice, "I'll miss you too." Thinking about how to get rid of you, you ungrateful wretch. She took 2 steps back, pursed her lips, and said, Sister, the person you mentioned will be waiting for me at the airport. Right, I'm not familiar with the place, and I'm so afraid of getting lost. I forced a smile. Of course, hurry up, don't miss your flight. Of course not, this time, I won't offer her any help. She left, looking back every few steps, as if she really couldn't bear to part with me, but I knew that what she really wanted to see wasn't me, but my fiancé, Pei Xiaoyun. Pei Xiaoyun was actually here too, secretly watching her from the shadows. As soon as I left, they would have an affectionate and reluctant to part hug at the airport, so I pretended to leave. When they started their performance, I turned on the camera. Why are you going abroad? Didn't I tell you to wait for me? Once my family's company stabilizes, I'll divorce her, and then I'll marry you right away. Stay by my side until then. Okay, Sister Shuyan has been so good to me. How could I steal her fiancé? But I can't control my heart. I can't help but want to be close to you. To avoid hurting Sister Shuyan, I have to leave you. No, don't leave me. I can't bear to part with you. I can't bear to part with you either. But I have to leave. Brother Xiaoyun, come find me when you're free. Such nice words. If she really didn't want to betray me, how could she have slept with my fiancé behind my back and gotten pregnant, getting lost, being drunk, an accident, getting lost from the first floor of the restaurant to the 3rd floor guest room and accurately entering Pei Xiaoyun's room and having an accidental relationship with the unconscious Pei Xiaoyun? Bullshit, Sister Shuyan, I've already left the airport. Why isn't there anyone to pick me up? I can't get through to his phone either. Can you help me ask? When Lin Cece called, I had just finished crying in my parents' arms. Although they didn't know what was wrong with me, they still tried their best to make me happy. Looking at the way they doted on me infinitely, I thought of their ending in the plot, and I felt even worse. My hands were shaking as I cried. So I originally wanted to hang up on Lin Cece, but I accidentally answered the call. Okay, I'll help you ask. Just wait. I wasn't going to ask at all. I had already told the friend who was supposed to pick her up there not to go. Moreover, I had reported her bank card as lost. As for the house I arranged for her, I'm sorry, but it's temporarily unavailable due to some problems. As for what the problem is, don't ask. It's just that she can't live there. I don't want to be a big fool anymore. If she wants to go abroad while pregnant, she can figure out how to live on her own. After hanging up the phone, I immediately turned on mute and then continued to cry in my parents' arms. In my previous life, after I died, Pei Xiaoyun quickly married Lin Cece. After my parents investigated, they found out that they had been having an affair for a long time. They went to confront Lin Cece on my behalf. Shuyan treated you like a real younger sister. She gave you a share of everything good. You lived in our house for 13 years, and we never mistreated you. Why did you betray her? Why do you always call Pei Xiaoyun away whenever Shuyan needs him the most? Do you know that because of you, Shuyan died on the operating table? Lin Cece cried even more pitifully than them. I'm so sorry. I really didn't expect this. I'm also very sad that Sister Shuyan is gone. In the future, I'll take care of you on her behalf. As soon as she cried, Pei Xiaoyun felt sorry for her and stood in front of her to confront my parents. What does her death have to do with Cece? If you want to blame someone, blame yourselves. If it weren't for you forcing me to marry her, I wouldn't have been separated from Cece for these 5 years. I don't love her at all. I only love Cece. I'm telling you, if you come to find Cece again, don't blame me for being rude to you. How could my parents be afraid of threats, since I died so miserably? They just wanted to avenge me. However, before they could start planning, something unexpected happened. Confidential documents of my family's company were stolen, and the data was massively paralyzed. The company encountered successive problems. The Pei Corporation, which had been nurtured by my family, took the opportunity to acquire my family's company. Not long after, one of my parents died in a car accident after failing to be rescued, and the other committed suicide by jumping off a building. From then on, the male and female protagonists lived a happy life together. I can understand that the villainous supporting characters have tragic endings, but neither I nor my parents have ever done anything bad. Why should we be given such a miserable ending? Is it just because we are supporting characters? I'm not willing to accept this. Since I've been reborn, I won't live in vain. What male and female protagonists? I will definitely make them pay the price. Pei Xiaoyun took leave and went to the United States. I wasn't surprised at all. Lin Cece couldn't get in touch with me, couldn't wait for the person to pick her up, and didn't know the address of my house in the United States. with her broken English. She wanted to find a hotel to stay in, but then she found that the bank card I gave her was frozen. She had no money, didn't understand the language, and was pregnant. After standing in the cold wind for several hours, she finally couldn't help but call Pei Xiaoyun, crying for help. Over the years, in places I didn't know about, she had always been like this, turning to Pei Xiaoyun for everything. When she was bullied at school, failed an exam, didn't bring an umbrella on a rainy day, had a stomachache during her period, or felt unwell with a fever or a cold, the first person she called was always Pei Xiaoyun. She would say things like, "I'm sorry for the trouble. I didn't mean to," but still keep troubling others, and Pei Xiaoyun fell for her tricks. This was the unique favor the female protagonist received. As long as the female protagonist asked, the male protagonist would immediately go to help her, no matter what he was doing. I called Lin Cc back only after Pei Xiaoyun left. "The bank card, I don't know why there's a problem. Don't worry, I'll check it right away. Transfer money. Don't worry, I'll transfer it to you soon. The house, don't worry. You can move in soon." As for how soon, she probably won't be able to wait until then before she dies. Just thinking about her being alone in the United States now, huddled in a corner feeling wronged and scared, waiting for her male protagonist to save her, makes me so happy that I can eat an extra half bowl of rice. What's more, it's exactly what I want for Pei Xiaoyun to go abroad to help her, because today, my family's nanny, Aunt Lin, who is also Lin Cc's mother, will suddenly suffer a myocardial infarction. In my previous life, I sent her to the hospital in time and asked Pei Xiaoyun, the chief surgeon in cardiothoracic surgery, to perform the operation on her personally, which saved her life. I covered all her expenses during her hospitalization, hired a nurse for her, and visited her whenever I had time. But all my efforts only earned a lukewarm thank you from their mother-daughter duo. They were more grateful to Pei Xiaoyun. In the plot, Aunt Lin told Lin Cc that the reason she got sick was that she was too tired from working in my house, saying that my family exploited her. She also said that fortunately, Pei Xiaoyun was there, otherwise her life would have been in danger. She told Lin Cc to hold on to Pei Xiaoyun tightly. As long as she married Pei Xiaoyun with the help of the child, their mother-daughter duo wouldn't have to work so hard anymore. After all, Lin Cc was the female protagonist. On the surface, she still had some sense of right and wrong. She told her mother that she and Pei Xiaoyun were true lovers and would never use anything other than their true feelings to scheme against him. But right after saying that, she immediately bought a famous brand watch for Pei Xiaoyun to thank him for saving her mother. Oh, and she used my money to do it. In this life, since Pei Xiaoyun was called away by her, whether her mother can survive depends on her mother's own luck. Aunt Lin became a vegetable. When I told Lin Cc the news, she cried so pitifully. I deliberately told her the reason. As soon as I found out, I immediately sent Auntie to the hospital. I was trying to contact Pei Xiaoyun all the way. You know, he's the best cardiothoracic surgeon in the hospital. With him around, he could definitely save Auntie. But he took a leave of absence and kept ignoring my calls. I did my best to find the best doctor, but unfortunately, Cc, it's all my fault. If only I could have called Xiaoyun back. Lin Cc's crying paused for a moment, and she gasped in pain. I listened with great pleasure. When I called Pei Xiaoyun, she hung up on me and threw the phone aside. She sat on Pei Xiaoyun's lap and looked at him with teary eyes, begging him, "Just for today, can you only look at me and only listen to me?" She succeeded. She should be happy, shouldn't she? As for Aunt Lin, to be honest, I wanted her to die. In the plot, after I died, my mother was heartbroken and cried every day while holding my photo. Aunt Lin deliberately showed off in front of my mother how good Lin Cc was to her. After all, it's all about fate. My daughter is kind, so she gets good rewards. She married a good man, gave birth to a son, and is loved by both her husband and her in-laws. She's so happy, unlike your Shuyan. She must have done something immoral. She had poor health and couldn't have children, and she died at a young age, but in a way, her death was a good thing. At least it brought Cc and Xiaoyun together. They're true lovers and were wrongly delayed by Shuyan for several years. My mother was so angry that her whole body was shaking, and she told Lin's mother to get out of our house immediately. Lin's mother spat and continued to stab at my mother's heart. "It's because of your temper that you couldn't give birth to a son, and the daughter you had also had a short life. Fine, I'll leave. I'll go to my son-in-law's house to enjoy a good life. You, on the other hand, can spend the rest of your life looking at your daughter's photo." She had worked as a nanny in my house for 20 years. When she was young, she was a victim of domestic violence. It was my mother who helped her find a lawyer to get a divorce, allowed her to live in our house with her daughter, provided the best educational resources for her daughter, and even didn't ask them to pay the tuition fees. My mother even planned to give her a retirement house after she retired. It's truly ridiculous and extremely hateful. Using her words, she can just lie in bed for the rest of her life in the future. Pei Xiaoyun has been in a bad mood recently, because Lin Cece is heartbroken and wants to calm down for a while. She even refuses to answer his calls. His beloved is in a foreign country, crying every day. How can he not feel? But Lin Cece doesn't want to see him. She can't accept that because of her, her mother became a vegetable indirectly, and she also blames Pei Xiaoyun for not being able to wake her mother up. But obviously, she blames me more. She said it's all because she was useless that her mother got sick from overwork. She said that if she had been by her mother's side, her mother wouldn't have had an accident. This is putting the blame for her mother's situation on me, so I proposed, then come back to the country. If you take care of her personally, maybe you can wake your mother up. She was taken aback and didn't respond. Of course she wouldn't. She is living in the house rented for her by Pei Xiaoyun abroad, and there is a special nanny to take care of her daily life. She doesn't have to do any work every day. She can just peacefully take care of her pregnancy and flirt with Pei Xiaoyun. With such a comfortable life, how could she be willing to come back to the country? What filial piety, indeed. Now the male and female protagonists are following the script of a deep and torturous love story. The female protagonist, because of my willfulness to see you, I indirectly harmed my mother. I can't forgive myself. Let's not meet again in the future. The male protagonist, this isn't your fault. If you want to blame someone, blame the Tang family, blame Tang Shuyan. If her family hadn't arranged such heavy work for Auntie, if they had discovered Auntie's discomfort earlier and sent her to the hospital earlier, if Tang Shuyan had arranged everything well for you abroad, none of this would have happened. The female protagonist, but if I hadn't asked you to come here to accompany me, maybe you could have saved my mother. It's my fault, all my fault. The male protagonist, no. It's not your fault. If Tang Shuyan had arranged everything well abroad, you wouldn't have looked for me. It's all her fault. Don't blame yourself. If she really felt guilty, where would she find the time to say all these nonsense about being sentimental? It's more important to come back to the country and stay by her mother's side. But Pei Xiaoyun falls for this. Every day, he accompanies Lin Cece on the phone and shares her sadness. I'm happy to see them unhappy whenever I have time. I go to the hospital to bother Pei Xiaoyun. I watch him suffer and have to divide his attention to deal with me, yet he can't show his impatience. His tightly furrowed brows and the eyes that can hardly contain his annoyance bring me great pleasure. After pestering him for a while and forcing him to buy me several expensive gifts, successfully making him look haggard and lose 6 pounds, I stopped for the time being. Mainly, another important plot is about to come. I have to prepare in advance and don't have time to laugh at him. A special patient came to the hospital. His name is Qin Shen. Speaking of which, this person is indirectly related to my death in my previous life. I have congenital heart disease, and it's quite serious. In the later stage, if I don't have a heart transplant, I won't be able to survive. I finally waited for a heart donation. Just when I was about to have the operation, someone forcefully took away the opportunity. And that person was Qin Shen. Of course, he was able to get that heart with the help of the male and female protagonists. The reason was that Pei Xiaoyun told Lin Cece that I was about to have the operation. Lin Cece found out that her classmate Qin Shen also needed a heart transplant operation and had the same blood type match as me. So, she said the following words: Sister Shuyan's family is so rich, even if she doesn't have the operation for the time being, she can still be taken care of well and won't be in life-threatening danger. But Qin Shen is different. His family borrowed from all their relatives to scrape together the operation expenses, and he doesn't have a resident doctor to take care of him. If he can't have the operation in time, he is in danger of losing his life at any moment. He's really pitiful. If I were Sister Shuyan, I would definitely give this operation opportunity to Qin Shen. Pei Xiaoyun sighed at her kindness. If only Shuyan were half as kind as you. Lin Cece came up with an idea. She gave my information to Qin Shen and asked him to wait outside my hospital room first. When I came out of the room, Qin Shen accidentally spilled peanut powder all over my face and body. I'm severely allergic to peanuts, and immediately, I had complications such as difficulty breathing and being on the verge of shock. In this situation, I couldn't have the heart transplant operation. In this way, I missed the first suitable operation opportunity and almost lost my life. Under the planning of Pei Xiaoyun and Lin Cixi, Qin Shen successfully had the heart transplant operation. After that, Qin Shen regarded Lin Cixi as his savior and became her most loyal admirer. In this life, on the pretext of not being ready yet, I gave up this operation opportunity in advance. So tomorrow is the day for Qin Shen to have the operation. I'm really looking forward to it. Before Pei Xiaoyun entered the operating room, I did two things. The first thing was to take photos of the gifts Pei Xiaoyun gave me before and send them to Lin Cixi. I told her in a happy tone that Pei Xiaoyun and I were getting married soon. The second thing was to tell Pei Xiaoyun that Lin Cixi wasn't feeling well in her stomach. Then I went to the adjacent department for a routine physical examination. When I finished the examination and came out, I heard loud crying. It was Qin Shen's family. His operation had failed. Actually, it couldn't really be called a failure. Just like in my previous life, after being given anesthesia and having his abdomen opened, Pei Xiaoyun, as the chief surgeon, paused the operation for love and ran away. The subsequent doctors couldn't immediately take over, and the patient had massive bleeding and couldn't be saved. And I was in good physical condition and could receive the operation. The hospital immediately began to persuade me to accept the heart transplant. Otherwise, this heart would be wasted. I agreed without hesitation. These days, I have been doing preoperative preparations and adjusting my physical condition, all for this day. In fact, I know that having the operation is risky, but I can only take a gamble. I know my physical condition. The longer I delay, the more dangerous it will be. Moreover, since God gave me a chance to be reborn, I don't believe He will take it back so soon. Before I entered the operating room, my parents came. They held my hands and told me not to be afraid. Your father and I will be waiting outside for you, my dear daughter. You are about to welcome your new life. I held their hands tightly. Dad, Mom, with you here, I'm not afraid at all. When I fell into a coma, I felt very at ease. My parents had already made full preparations for this day. The doctor was an expert, not some protagonist, and wouldn't pause the operation halfway for any reason. I didn't sink into darkness but found myself in a white world. In the air in front of me, my past life was being played out. I was weak, pale, but cheerful, with excellent grades and good popularity. I learned to play the piano, the cello, and draw, and I did quite well in all of them. In my short 27 years of life, I held a concert and an individual art exhibition. I inherited my parents' business acumen in my genes and also had a talent for investment. It can be said that if I weren't a supporting female character, if I didn't need to set off the protagonist's life, if I hadn't met Pei Xiaoyun and Lin Cixi, my life might have been short, but I would definitely have been very fulfilling and happy. Instead of being loved falsely, being deceived sincerely, being stabbed in the back by a friend, being betrayed by a lover, and dying miserably on the operating table, I think maybe God also thinks that someone as bright as me shouldn't have lived such a dark life. That's why I came back to life and even knew the plot of this world in advance. I think the meaning of my rebirth is to change the fate of myself and my family. It must be like this. Shuyan, Shuyan, can you hear your father and mother's voices? I can hear them. This is a day of great joy for everyone. My operation was a complete success. I'm very happy. And so are my parents. When they were happy, they directly invested 20 million yuan in the hospital, and the hospital was also happy. Lin Cixi is also happy because she found that although she and Pei Xiaoyun had a torturous love affair for a while, she is still the most important woman in Pei Xiaoyun's heart. As long as she says a word, Pei Xiaoyun will still go to her side without hesitation. Pei Xiaoyun is equally happy, because the woman he loves has finally forgiven him. He no longer has to pretend to be affectionate in front of me and can embrace the woman he loves deeply and be his true self. But, how could I let them be happy for too long? If they are all well, how can that be allowed? So, Pei Xiaoyun received 2 phone calls. You've been fired, you're being sued. There are also a few surprises that he doesn't need to know about personally, which I prepared for him. The hot searches are as follows. Genius doctor pauses operation to meet his girlfriend overseas. Pei Xiaoyun, a cardiothoracic surgeon at XX hospital, disregards human life. Pausing the operation midway results in the patient's death. Is it the loss of humanity or the degeneration of morality? Then Qin Shen's family did a live broadcast. In the live broadcast room, they accused Pei Xiaoyun of ignoring their son's life and pausing the operation to go abroad to meet his girlfriend, and they made the whole thing very clear. It's not in vain that I prepared the manuscript for them in advance. What a joke. I experienced it personally, so who can write it with more genuine feelings than me? The victim's family sued Pei Xiaoyun for intentional homicide, and the lawyer I hired in advance will handle this lawsuit for them for free. Then, the hospital where Pei Xiaoyun works issued a dismissal statement, a condemnation statement, and a lawsuit document. The general idea is that Pei Xiaoyun is the one who did such heartless things. After the hospital found out, it tried its best to rescue the patient but failed. The hospital decided to fire this doctor who lacks medical ethics and suggested revoking his practicing qualification certificate so that such a person can't continue to harm society. The hospital will fully cooperate with the victim's family to safeguard their rights and interests and will file a lawsuit against Pei Xiaoyun for his dereliction of duty, damage to the hospital's reputation, and causing a serious medical accident. In short, Pei Xiaoyun's name became famous overnight. Netizens from all walks of life who uphold justice began to take action. These days, any uncivilized trash can become a doctor. Pause the operation, go to meet his girlfriend, damn it. Does he think he's the male protagonist of a novel? Such a doctor doesn't deserve to be a human being. What's the difference between pausing the operation and disregarding human life? Wait, hasn't anyone noticed? The name of the doctor involved is Pei Xiaoyun. It's the same as the fiancé of the daughter of Fenghai Group. I remember the fiancé of the Fenghai Group's daughter is also a doctor, right? Is it a coincidence? It shouldn't be the same person, right? The news said that this guy paused the operation to go abroad to meet his girlfriend. But the daughter of the Fenghai Group had the operation in the country, didn't she? Becoming a doctor was Pei Xiaoyun's dream. His family actually also has a group company. After all, he is the male protagonist, and the company is of a considerable size. It's just that the author set some difficulties for his family's company to increase the drama and plot conflict. He got engaged to me because he wanted to seek the help of my family, at the current time point. His family's company is indeed being sustained by my family. As soon as this medical accident happened, the stock market of his family's already precarious company became even more unstable and was on the verge of collapse at any moment. So, without having time to get intimate with Lin Cixi, Pei Xiaoyun flew back in a hurry again. The first thing he did was to come to me. There are two reasons for this. First, I used to be infatuated with him and would help him unconditionally. It had always been like this before. My family's company is a leading company in the country. If my parents speak up for him, others will more or less give them some face. He really has high hopes, but he doesn't know that I guided and brought all this about. He pretended to be affectionate in front of me for so long, so of course I have to pretend a bit too. Xiaoyun, don't worry, I will definitely ask mom and dad to help you. Moreover, I believe you're not that kind of person. Your dream is to save lives, so how could you pause the operation halfway and go abroad to meet some girlfriend? They must be spreading rumors. As your fiancé, don't I know you? Just wait, I'll explain it for you right away. He opened his mouth several times but couldn't say anything. His face just turned slightly pale. It doesn't matter, I'll make his face even paler later. I acted as if I was deeply in love and posted a status without thinking. This is simply nonsense. This is spreading rumors. As Dr. Pei's fiancé, I didn't go abroad, so how can it be said that he went abroad to meet me? Because the person he went abroad to meet wasn't me. He loves his job so much that he would never do something like leaving the patient during the operation. Don't talk nonsense without evidence. Hurry up and show the evidence. As long as he's wronged, I will firmly stand by his side and support him. If he's not wronged, I'll make him pay. The powerful netizens, the hired water army, didn't let me down. In less than 10 minutes, they successively released the evidence that slapped me in the face, videos of Pei Xiaoyun hugging and kissing Lin Cixi, who was pregnant, in the United States, as well as a censored video of them being intimate in the living room, and the video I took before of them hugging at the airport, which I specifically muted, because otherwise, Lin Cixi's words would sound a bit more reasonable in terms of values. And I can't whitewash her. Your fiancé is about to have a child with another woman, and you're still kept in the dark. Then came the video of the whole process of Pei Xiaoyun pausing the operation and leaving. Sigh. I'm actually happy to be slapped in the face for the first time. Someone tagged me and asked, he's not wronged, so will you still support him? Support him? No way. I immediately broke off the engagement with him, and my parents also withdrew the investment in his family's company. Businessmen are very shrewd. Seeing that my family had given up on the Pei family, they naturally wouldn't cooperate with them anymore. Those who had been eyeing the Pei family began to stir again after confirming that my family wouldn't help them. Lin Cece called me to explain that what happened between her and Pei Xiaoyun was just an accident. He was drunk and mistook me for you. That's why that happened, Sister Shuyan, whether you believe it or not. I never meant to betray you or compete with you. That's why I came abroad alone as soon as I found out I was pregnant. As long as you and brother Xiaoyun are happy, I'd rather never come back to the country. Look, she's treating me like a fool, but I still have use for her, so I'll play along with her for now. I gave a look to the new nanny in the house, and she cooperatively shouted, Miss, young Master Pei and his parents will arrive in half an hour. They said they want to discuss your wedding. I curled my lips into a malicious smile. Cece, thank you for telling me this. Since that's the case, I'll forgive him this once. When I marry him, I'll raise your child for you. That's it, he's coming soon, and I'm going to see him. Before she could say anything, I hung up the phone. Lin Cece, don't let me down. Pei Xiaoyun's parents repeatedly pressured him to come to our house to apologize, aiming to save their family's company by maintaining our engagement. Since my parents were firm in their stance and wouldn't give in, their bottom line kept getting lower and lower. First, they said they could give me 15% of their family's shares. Then they suggested that Lin Cece could give up the child custody and leave while the child stayed with us. Later, they were even willing to let Pei Xiaoyun become a live-in son-in-law. Pei Xiaoyun was very good at pretending. He looked extremely regretful, saying the same things as Lin Cece and begging for my forgiveness. Last week, I told him I needed some time to think and made an appointment to meet him today, mainly because something was going to happen today. After hanging up the phone with Lin Cece, I went to the living room to play the piano, with no intention of dressing up at all. Ode to Joy really lived up to its name. Half an hour later, I received a message from Pei Xiaoyun. Shuyan, Cece isn't feeling well in her stomach. I'm worried something might happen to her, so I have to go and check on her. Don't worry, I'm only going to see her because of the child. Since you can't have children, this child will be ours in the future. I ignored him and continued playing Ode to Joy. More than 30 minutes later, I received a call from the private detective I hired, Miss Tang. After Pei Xiaoyun received a call and left on the way, his father, Pei Donghai, got so angry that his asthma flared up. He passed away before the ambulance arrived. I made a sound and asked, what about his mother? She fainted and has been sent to the hospital. Wow, that's so pitiful, but it's nothing compared to what I went through in my previous life. In my previous life, knowing that I couldn't have children, they said they didn't mind to my face, but behind my back, they constantly made sarcastic remarks, knowing that I couldn't stand the sight of blood. They often came to our house and ordered the nanny to kill chickens in front of me, saying things like hens that don't lay eggs deserve to die and are only good for making soup. Pei Xiaoyun's mother even advised me, it's not that you can't have children, there's just some risk. Who doesn't face risks when giving birth? Dying to have a child would be worth it. Pei Xiaoyun's father directly told him, just find a woman outside to have a child. She can't say anything. Besides, how long can she live with that weak body of hers? Have a child and raise it outside first, then bring it back when she's gone. We can't let our family line end. When they learned that Lin Cece had given birth to a healthy grandson for them, and that he was a child prodigy, they eagerly hoped that I would die soon so they could bring their grandson home. Once, on my birthday, I hoped Pei Xiaoyun would spend it with me, but he suddenly went abroad again, leaving me alone at home. Maybe because of crying, my heart disease flared up. Coincidentally, Pei Xiaoyun's parents were there. I thought I was saved, but they just stood there and watched, even deliberately kicking away the phone I was going to use to call for help. If it hadn't been for a kind-hearted nanny who secretly called 120, I would have died long ago. Sadly, that brave and kind nanny never appeared again. I'm much kinder than them. I didn't deliberately try to kill them. I just knew that Pei Xiaoyun's father had asthma and that he attached great importance to today, desperately hoping to finalize my engagement with Pei Xiaoyun. So when Pei Xiaoyun went to see Lin Cece regardless of the overall situation, he must have been extremely angry. Anger can easily trigger an asthma attack, and his medicine was in Pei Xiaoyun's pocket. Pei Xiaoyun was in such a hurry to see Lin Cece that he forgot to take it out. It's all Pei Xiaoyun's fault, isn't it? I specially went to the hospital to offer my condolences to Pei Xiaoyun's mother. While she was grieving, I told her, Auntie, let's never mention my marriage with Pei Xiaoyun again. I've seen clearly that he and Lin Cece are true lovers. I'll let them be together. Then, with a seemingly sad expression, I turned and left as she clutched her chest, on the verge of fainting. Pei Xiaoyun's mother had a bit of an Oedipus complex. In the original plot, She was even jealous of Lin Cece for vying for Pei Xiaoyun's attention. Now that she had lost her husband and her son was neglecting both his father's death and the family company for a woman, how could she tolerate it? Of course she couldn't. Next, let them sort things out among themselves for a while. On the day the Pei Corporation declared bankruptcy, Pei Xiaoyun's mother beat her chest in grief, fainted several times, and was sent to the hospital. Pei Xiaoyun, who used to be a doctor and never cared about the family business, was now overwhelmed with handling the aftermath, and blisters had formed at the corners of his mouth. However, this was not the end. With her husband gone, Pei Xiaoyun's mother now only had her son left. She was like a frightened bird, waking up every day and demanding to see Pei Xiaoyun, insisting that he stay by her side. Since she clung to Pei Xiaoyun, Lin Cece wasn't happy. She kept calling, saying she had a stomachache or a headache, demanding that Pei Xiaoyun go and accompany her. But this time, she didn't succeed. It wasn't that Pei Xiaoyun didn't want to go, it was that he simply couldn't. Over the past 6 months, he had lost his job, been sued by Qin Shen's family, and had to pay a large sum of money in compensation. Then his father died, and the company went bankrupt. One thing after another happened, leaving him with no money and no energy to travel abroad. More importantly, he could no longer afford Lin Cece's expenses abroad, so, instead of him going abroad, Lin Cece returned to the country with her pregnant belly, looking dejected. On the first day she was back, Pei Xiaoyun left his sick mother to pick up Lin Cece, in a fit of anger. As soon as Lin Cece entered the house, Pei Xiaoyun's mother grabbed her hair and slapped her several times. "You little slut, it's all your fault. If it weren't for you, our family wouldn't be in this mess. What a jinx you are. How dare you enter my house, get out." During the scuffle, Lin Cece fell down. This fall led to an early birth. In the previous life, Pei Heshuan, that child prodigy who could read without going to school, master the world's most advanced hacking techniques without ever learning about computers, was supposed to be born in the best hospital in the United States and receive the best care. Pei Heshuan, who at the age of 5 alone was able to steal confidential documents from my family, tamper with important data of my family's company, causing the company to collapse within a short time, the one who cut off the power supply in my father's hospital room when my father was being rescued after a car accident, resulting in the failure of the rescue, the one who used hacking techniques to project the images of my father and me in front of my mother late at night, driving her to commit suicide by jumping off a building out of collapse. He was born on an ordinary day, 2 months before his due date, in an ambulance. I had been waiting for him, this devil. So, although I had been avoiding Pei Xiaoyun's mother, we accidentally met at the hospital. As soon as she saw me, she grabbed my hand and poured out all her grievances, saying that I was the only daughter-in-law she recognized in her heart. I deliberately said some ambiguous things, making her think that I still had feelings for Pei Xiaoyun. Her eyes lit up, and she promised that she would never let Lin Cece enter their house. "Good child, wait for Xiaoyun a bit longer. I can tell that he still has feelings for you. Wait until I deal with that little slut, and I'll welcome you into our house in grand style." I neither agreed nor refused, remaining non-committal. Then, through the mouth of a doctor, I let her know that my health had improved greatly and that there was no problem with me having children. Her expression immediately became complicated. In her eyes now, Lin Cece was clearly a curse, causing her son to lose his job, break off the engagement with me, leading to the bankruptcy of their family company, and even causing her husband's death. Most importantly, she was always competing with her for her son's attention, even though Lin Cece had given birth to a grandson for her. It couldn't reconcile their relationship, but I was different. I was the daughter of the richest man. It seemed that I still had feelings for her son, and the only issue she had with me before, my health, was now resolved. So, what would she do? I lowered myself to become an option, not because I really wanted to be chosen, but simply because I didn't want them to have an easy life. It turned out that the fighting power of the female protagonist's mother-in-law was on par with that of the female protagonist. In the following 2 months, I received the latest gossip about the Pei family from the private detective every day. Lin Cece refused to live with Pei Xiaoyun's mother, so they rented separate houses. Lin Cece lived with Pei Xiaoyun, while Pei Xiaoyun's mother lived with the child. Pei Xiaoyun went out to work to support the family, and the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law each used their own methods, calling Pei Xiaoyun every day with various excuses, asking him to come home and accompany them, trying to prove their importance in his heart. When Pei Xiaoyun was with Lin Cece, His mother would feel unhappy and always disrupt their private time. If Pei Xiaoyun was with his mother, Lin Cece would either be sick or sad, claiming that she couldn't get better without him. In 2 months, Pei Xiaoyun changed more than a dozen jobs, all of which he was fired from. No company could afford an employee who left at will like him. After 2 tormenting months, Lin Cece's birthday arrived. To avoid being disturbed by Pei Xiaoyun's mother, she begged Pei Xiaoyun to take her out on a date before dawn. When Pei Xiaoyun's mother went to their place with the child but couldn't find them, she started calling Pei Xiaoyun, saying that the child was ill and asking him to come back immediately. Lin Cece finally couldn't hold back and exposed Pei Xiaoyun's mother. You always use the same excuses, either you're not feeling well or Hechuan is. When is it ever real? You're so old, can't you take good care of a child? We just want some private space, why do you have to keep interfering? When Pei Xiaoyun's mother heard her speak like this, she immediately started arguing with her. You little bitch, how dare you talk to me like that? Weren't you the one who used these tricks to seduce my son in the first place? Stop pretending. Lin Cece couldn't stand being scolded, so she started crying, and when she cried, Pei Xiaoyun would comfort her, naturally forgetting about his mother and the child. Many things happened due to countless coincidences. Because Pei Hechuan was born prematurely, his health had always been poor. Pei Xiaoyun's mother didn't take good care of him, making him even weaker and more prone to illness than ordinary children. It was cold and rainy that day. Pei Xiaoyun's mother went out early in the morning with the child to find Lin Cece. When she couldn't find them and had to turn back, she got caught in the rain. Still angry, she was even less willing to take care of the child. She left the child in bed and went out to chat with others, and on that day, the glass in the room where Hechuan was sleeping suddenly shattered. What would happen to a child who was already weak, having been caught in the rain and exposed to the wind? When Pei Xiaoyun's mother came back, she found that Hechuan's face was flushed and he was too weak to cry. She called Pei Xiaoyun again, saying that the child had a fever and wouldn't stop crying. Pei Xiaoyun was still with Lin Cece and didn't come back. They didn't take the child to the hospital until they returned home after their date. When Pei Xiaoyun came to my house to borrow money, I was just about to leave with my bag, planning to go on a trip with my girlfriends. He looked at the million-yuan bag in my hand, and his face twisted for a moment. Shuyan, just lend me 1 million yuan, I'll definitely pay you back in the future. I took a few steps back and then waved for the security guards to push him away. What are you talking about? You don't even have a job, how are you going to pay me back? Get out of here, don't delay my trip. When he saw that I was really about to leave, he panicked immediately. Shuyan, I haven't married Lin Cece yet. I heard from my mother that you still have feelings for me. As long as you lend me 1 million yuan, I can break up with Lin Cece and get back together with you. He put on an expression of making a difficult decision. This 1 million yuan can be considered as living expenses for them. I won't see them again in the future. I couldn't help but laugh. Looking at him coldly, I said, even if you're trying to sell yourself, you should consider your own worth. I don't recycle garbage, I won't lend you money, and I don't want you. You make me sick, leave me alone. As I got into the car, he was still in disbelief. How could this be? You should still like me. The headquarters of my family's company moved to a new city. We downsized several business sectors, got rid of some corrupt employees, and also opened up new business channels. My parents and I bought a new villa and settled in the new city. Everything was moving in a better direction, except that my parents started looking for new potential partners for me again. We had completely broken away from the original plot and were no longer supporting characters in someone else's story. Now, it was the male and female protagonists who were trapped in the plot. It all started 3 years ago. Pei Xiaoyun was reborn, or rather, he regained the memories of his previous life. After recalling his past life, he didn't hesitate to kick Lin Cece out, abandoning even the child, and then kept pestering me, admitting his mistakes and begging for forgiveness. I was extremely annoyed. I casually set a trap and sent him to prison. Pei Xiaoyun's mother came to see me several times. Each time she failed to meet me and was chased away. Before long, she fell seriously ill and died alone in a rented room. Then, Lin Cece unexpectedly also awakened to the plot. She even dared to provoke me, saying that her son would become a genius hacker in the future and that she could live a good life even without Pei Xiaoyun. She never even considered that if the child was truly okay, why would Pei Xiaoyun, who knew the plot, give him up? It was because Pei Xiaoyun, as a doctor, had already seen that the child wouldn't become the genius child in the original plot, living in such a beautiful fantasy. She waited until Pei Hechuan turned 3 years old. only to find that the child was different from ordinary children. Both his physical and intellectual development were abnormal. A visit to the hospital revealed that the previous high fever and illness had indeed affected Pei Heshuan. He became cerebral palsied. Lin Cece couldn't accept that her genius son had become like this, unable to walk or speak, only giggling and drooling all day, or suddenly becoming irritable and screaming. She went crazy, often talking to herself, saying that she was the female protagonist and her son was a genius, and things shouldn't be like this. After learning that she had gone mad, I stopped paying attention to her. I knew very well that she was like a daughter flower that could only survive by clinging to others. At first, she relied on me, then on Pei Xiaoyun. Without Pei Xiaoyun, she thought she could rely on her child. When she found that no one she could rely on could support her anymore, her fate was to rot in the mud. No one knew that during the days when Pei Xiaoyun wasn't in the US with Lin Cece, every meal she ate was specially prepared by me, or rather, it was the first gift I specially prepared for Pei Heshuan. The second was the artificial rainfall that day, which took a lot of effort on my part. The third was teaching the naughty children nearby to break that glass. Pick. Pick, pick. In this life, I will definitely make you two pick up poverty for the rest of your lives. The fifth was giving them some special offers during Pei Xiaoyun and Lin Cece state, trying my best to keep them from going back too soon. I didn't want to get my hands dirty with blood, but I also couldn't let him become the devil in the plot, so I created countless coincidences to prevent him from becoming that genius. Fortunately, I succeeded, in the end. It took me 10 years to acquire all the novel hosting websites, not for anything else, but to put an end to manuscripts with distorted values similar to the plot of this world. I have plenty of money and just want to be willful. Story 2. I traveled back 10 years, to the day when my husband confessed his love for me. Overjoyed, I finally seized the opportunity. This time, I'm determined to help Jiangbai marry a wealthy and beautiful woman, propelling him to the pinnacle of life. I went back to that afternoon 10 years ago in high school, when Jiangbai confessed his feelings to me. Thank heavens, I, Jiang Qing, am willing to mix meat and veggies for a lifetime. Oh no, I mean strictly veggies. In gratitude for your great kindness, my eyes sparkled as I fixed my gaze on Jiangbai, who was concentrating on his work. No wonder he looks so handsome even when he's studying. He's like a limited edition campus husband. Missing a single glance is a loss. Jiangbai, also known as Comrade Jiang Xiaobai, is a well-known campus heartthrob, my high school desk mate and childhood friend. We joyfully went through elementary, middle, and high school together, and even got married in the future. He's perfect in every way, handsome, distinguished, excellent in academics, and a decathlete. Aside from being a bit cold and reserved, he has no faults, truly a heart-stealer. Unfortunately, in my past life, for some reason, he fell for me and, just like that, we ended up getting married. We had 3 years of happiness in those 10 years, the rest of the days were nothing but terrible. In this lifetime, I must ensure Comrade Jiang Xiaobai's happiness. I stared at Jiangbai thirstily for a long time, until he seemingly felt it and slowly turned around. Our eyes met. With a bang, he suddenly fell off his chair. Me, seriously, are my eyes that terrifying? I'm getting a bit angry now. According to my memory, today, after class, when only Jiangbai and I are left on duty, he will make a heartfelt confession. He would typically kneel with flowers in hand, passionately saying, "Qing Qing, my darling, please be with me. I truly love you so much," and such. This cold senior officer would never actually do that. Instead, as we were cleaning the blackboard together, with an unruffled expression, he casually said, "Jiang Qing, I like you, would you consider me?" If I hadn't seen his tightly clenched fist, his ears flushed red, and the rag in his hand dripping with water from his tight grip, I might think he was asking me, "Jiang Qing, have you eaten?" Such a pure and simple way to confess. Comrade Jiang Xiaobai, you're incredible. I always thought it was just me who had a crush on him. Turns out, it was mutual. But this time, I won't let the story unfold as it should. I'm going to tear up the campus love script with Comrade Jiang Xiaobai and help him marry a wealthy beauty, leading him to the pinnacle of life. After all, there's no happy ending for Comrade Jiang Xiaobai and me together. I'm Jiang Qing, loved by everyone, a delight to flowers, a positive, sunny, and healthy beautiful girl. 3 years after marrying Comrade Jiang Bai, I was diagnosed with an elegant and hereditary disease called ALS. I don't know if it's related to the father I've never met. Simply put, the disease causes muscles to slowly atrophy and then gradually lose life. The moment I found out, I was shocked. I always felt that marrying such a good husband as Jiangbai couldn't be because I traded my life for it. It might just be true. I was still worried about the 7-year itch with comrade Jiangbai. But now it looks like I might not even live to see our 7th year together. Light a candle for myself. Fortunately, thanks to comrade Jiangbai's meticulous care and my relentless efforts, I made it to our 10th year of marriage. Then I faced the greatest challenge that has existed since time immemorial: childbirth. There was no way around it. In the years I've been declining in health, it has become increasingly obvious that comrade Jiang Xiaobai was forcing a smile. I was genuinely afraid that after I was gone, he might do something drastic out of despair. Anyway, I was bound to leave this world sooner or later, so I wanted to try my best to leave him a child for some solace. Turns out, I overestimated myself, once again. I light a candle for myself. The past is dark and irretrievable, but the road ahead is bright and splendid. Fortunately, fate was kind, giving me a chance to make it up to comrade Jiang Xiaobai. I must quench this budding flame of love before it grows any stronger, snuff it out in its cradle, and scatter the ashes. The means and methods of the act are debatable, but first, I need to get past the immediate hurdle. In the empty classroom, only Jiangbai and I remained, to avoid a confession scene. I immediately moved away from the podium and sent Jiangbai alone to erase the blackboard. I quietly watched his figure standing in front of the blackboard, tall, upright, and slender. Even his blackboard erasing is as beautiful as a painting, truly worthy of being my husband. Little did I know, Jiangbai was quick and efficient, cleaning the blackboard in no time and then turning to grab a broom. I hurriedly moved to the other side of the classroom, putting distance between us. Pretending to be deeply focused on sweeping, while sweeping, a pair of white shoes appeared in front of me. Oops, it had to be Jiangbai. Pretending not to see, I turned to sneak away, but Jiangbai stopped me with a soft call. Jiangqing. I reluctantly raised my head, meeting his indignantly handsome face. He was about to speak, and my pupils dilated. Wow, isn't the sky beautiful today? Don't you think so, comrade Jiang Xiaobai? Jiangbai looked where I pointed, at the unremarkable dusk sky. Still, he humored me with a He was about to speak again, and my pupils dilated once more. Wow, this floor is really clean, don't you think so, comrade Jiang Xiaobai? Jiangbai. But he humored me again with a After a few repetitions, Jiangbai fell silent. He took some candies out of his pocket. I saw them and thought, great, my favorite bubble gum from the store at the gate, now discontinued. Darn it. To accept or not to accept, after we graduated. The manufacturer of this candy had closed down. It was only after I got sick and brought Jiangbai back to our alma mater to reminisce about campus life that I realized I couldn't get this candy anymore, and I'd been craving it for years. Darn it, I gave in. I tore open a strawberry-flavored wrapper and quietly started chewing. Still the familiar taste, so sweet. Jiangbai smiled. As he was about to speak again, I quickly tore open a watermelon-flavored one and stuffed it into his mouth. I'm too smart. This intelligence of mine, I should be getting a script for a palace drama. He was slightly taken aback. I said, try blowing a bubble. Funny, back in the day, Jiangbai always struggled to blow bubbles and was teased by me for a long time after we got married. Little did I know. Jiangbai quietly chewed a few times and easily blew a bubble. Well done, Jiang Xiaobai. They say a man can change greatly in just 3 days. Were you just pretending all those years? I was utterly shocked. But don't think I can't handle you anymore. I clapped my hands in praise. Wow, Jiangbai, you're so skilled. Blow another one. Wow, this bubble is so perfect. Let's make another. Comrade Jiang Xiaobai got lost in himself amidst my constant praise, creating bubbles one after another. Men, as Jiangbai continued his efforts to blow another large bubble, I secretly pinched my face to adjust my expression, and said with a smile brimming with laughter, Jiangbai, I have some good news for you. I've fallen for someone. He's in our class, a really good person, and I like him a lot. With a pop, the bubble burst. Jiangbai looked at me, his expression somewhat bewildered. After a moment, he looked down at me and said softly, I didn't quite catch what you just said. I said, I've fallen for someone. I tried to give him a radiant smile. Jiangbai didn't react for a moment. He seemed as if someone had hit the pause button, trying hard to process what I had just said. After a while, he murmured a low, Then he slowly smiled and said, that's great. Jiangbai's right little finger twitched slightly. That was a sign he was lying. So, I had made my confession, but in the following days, I could still feel Jiangbai's gaze on me growing longer and more intense. As if he had never seen me before in his life, it seemed he hadn't fully let go. After all, matters of the heart are indeed hard to break off. I pondered over it. Time and a new love seemed to be the most effective tools. I couldn't wait for time, so a new love was my first choice. I silently turned my head, looking towards Lu Yuanyuan. Not far away, Jiangbai was like a magnet for admirers, with countless girls at our school fond of our comrade Jiang Xiaobai, but among them, Lu Yuanyuan was definitely among the top contenders, a great beauty, with a good family background, excellent in her studies, gentle, caring, and talented. Most importantly, I heard in my past life that she remained unmarried for so many years, silently waiting for Jiang Xiaobai, deeply in love. Originally, after learning about my illness, I wanted to set her up with Jiang Bai, but he firmly rejected the idea. But now, the situation was different, the timing, the conditions, and the people were all aligned. Sister Yuanyuan, you have good taste, and I will temporarily entrust Jiang Xiaobai, such an outstanding comrade, to you. I thought to myself coolly, feeling a bit sour inside. Ah, lemons on the lemon tree, and beneath it, just me. I planned to get closer to Lu Yuanyuan. From what I remember, in a few days during the exercise break, some girls from other classes who were jealous of Lu Yuanyuan would lock her in the restroom and splash water in from outside. This had caused quite a stir at the time, but then it quietly settled down. So, during the next few days' exercise breaks, I kept a close watch on Lu Yuanyuan's every move. Finally, today, I saw her heading towards the restroom, followed by a few girls. I secretly followed them, and by the time I arrived, Lu Yuanyuan was already trapped in a stall, helplessly beating on the door, her voice tinged with sobs. The girls outside blocked the door, laughing and mocking her. A bucket filled with water at their feet, seemingly ready to throw it inside. What kind of school violence is this? It made me furious. I quickly took a few seconds of video with my prepared phone, then grabbed a mop standing by the door and went in, hitting earnestly and without holding back. The girls were caught off guard and tangled up with me. With no one blocking the door, Lu Yuanyuan got out, unexpectedly. She didn't run away, she cried and helped me. The scene was chaotic until we heard a distinct roar. What are you all doing? The female disciplinary officer stood at the door, glaring at us. Lu Yuanyuan and I, along with a few other girls, entered the disciplinary office. The disciplinary officer was someone I had asked a classmate to summon in advance. Calmly, I showed the officer the video on my phone, and then Lu Yuanyuan explained the situation. The girls could only watch as the undeniable evidence unfolded before their eyes. Considering I appeared to be quite injured and had acted righteously, the disciplinary officer did not pursue the matter of my having a phone, merely giving me a verbal warning before sending me to the medical office. As soon as I left the office, I encountered Jiang by leaning against the corner of the staircase. It was during class time, and the hallway was empty except for the two of us. Without even thinking, I knew I must look a mess, with hair like a bird's nest and clothes all torn. Not to mention the bruises and red marks all over my body. I felt guilty, like a child caught red-handed, nervously fiddling with the hem of my shirt. In the silence, Jiangbai slowly walked up to me. He took off his school jacket and draped it over me. His movements were gentle, as if I were some fragile, precious porcelain that could crack at the slightest touch. I heard his voice tremble as he said, "Jiangqing, can you please take better care of yourself?" His voice choked up a bit, making my heart skip a beat. I looked up to see him staring at the fresh, striking scratches and wounds on my hands, his expression filled with sorrow. It was as if the pain inflicted on me was somehow transferred to him. That single look was startlingly painful. Even the fight hadn't hurt this much. Feeling somewhat panicked, I forced a smile and said, "It's okay, Comrade Jiang Xiaobai, it doesn't hurt at all." Their punches felt like kitten scratches. "Jiang Xiaobai, why do you look so stern like an old man? Smile a bit, smiling makes you look younger." Jiang Xiaobai, Jiang Bai. But no matter how I tried to lighten the mood with my playful banter, Jiang Bai remained silent. Seeing my pitiful state, Jiang Xiaobai coldly said, "I don't smile because I was born not loving to smile." He silently carried me to the medical office, silently helped me apply medicine, and silently carried me back. I lay on Jiang Bai's back, absent-mindedly watching the soft light coating him and his hair. The lazy sun cast long shadows of us together. As I fixated on our shadows, my heart was in turmoil over Jiang Bai's demeanor. Suddenly, I noticed our shadows had stopped. Jiang Bai suddenly halted and turned to ask me, "Jiangqing, who is the person you like?" My eyelid twitched, my mind racing. In a moment of panic, I blurted out, Li Zhuxin, who held the prestigious seat beside the teacher's desk, was known as the class ruffian. Overwhelmed by my attentiveness, she incredulously asked me, Jiangqing, has the sun risen from the west today? Are you out of your mind? Turning away from Jiangbai, I replied with a forced smile, barely audible, just take it and keep quiet. I stealthily glanced at Jiangbai with the corner of my eye and saw him staring intently at us, his grip tightening around the pen he was holding. The thrilling sensation of flirting in front of my husband. Knowing Jiangbai as I do, I understand that at his core, he is a proud man. He would never pester a woman who already has someone she likes, especially after witnessing this scene. Suppressing the bitterness in my heart, I pretended to be indifferent and continued chatting with Li Zhuxin. Suddenly, the class monitor walked in and announced, everyone, our annual autumn outing is about to begin. Instantly, the classroom erupted into cheers and excited shouts. I thought to myself, the autumn outing would be a great opportunity to bring Jiangbai and Lu Yuanyuan closer together, since forming a comradely bond during our last side-by-side battle. My relationship with Lu Yuanyuan had progressed rapidly, and I had come to realize what a genuinely nice girl she is. Considering her a true friend, if she and Jiangbai ended up together, I would sincerely bless their union. This year's autumn outing destination was an ancient town, a well-known local scenic spot. As we set off, Jiangbai, being the class monitor, was seated at the front of the bus to check attendance. Lu Yuanyuan and I sat together, just as I was about to pretend to be carsick to switch seats with Jiangbai, letting him sit with Lu Yuanyuan to foster their relationship. Lu Yuanyuan suddenly stood up. She said to Jiangbai, class monitor, I'm feeling a bit carsick, could we switch seats? Oh no, despite all my calculations, I hadn't considered Lu Yuanyuan getting carsick. Jiangbai nodded and came over to me. I grinned and teased, oh, look who's here to join the fun. Jiangbai replied indifferently, I'm a bit short on cash recently, how about we just play with 5 yuan? Darn it, Jiangbai, you've changed, you weren't like this before. As the bus slowly started moving, the scenery outside began to change, our classmates chattered away, and suddenly someone suggested we draw lots to decide who would tell a story. The little app randomly selected students, who racked their brains to come up with the most bizarre stories, causing bursts of laughter. I laughed so hard I was bending over backward, and then it was my turn. As expected, what goes up must come down. The topic was to create a short story based on The Little Prince. Starring the Little Prince and the Fox, incorporating themes of sobbing, regret, and bond. Well, those words suggested a melodramatic script. After gathering my thoughts under the eager gaze of my classmates, I cleared my throat and began. When the Little Prince was young and exploring planets, he met a little fox. They spent a delightful time together but soon parted ways. Years later, the Little Prince remembered the little fox he had accidentally met long ago, with whom he had formed a bond. He wanted to know how the fox was doing, so he set off to find him. But when the Little Prince returned to that planet, he only found an aging, weary old fox. The Little Prince realized that the brief bond they had formed in just a few months had left the fox waiting in pain for his return all his life. Holding the fox, the Little Prince sobbed uncontrollably, filled with regret. He should never have so casually entered the life of a fox. He had tamed the fox, only to leave him. He wished they had never met at all. With the story concluded, comments filled the air in the train compartment. Ah, poor little fox, boo-hoo-hoo, sis give you a hug, hope I never encounter that, what a sin, I feel like the Little Prince is such a jerk in this story, too tired to love, boo-hoo, there goes a 40-meter-long sword. I returned to my seat, smiling at Jiangbai. I did a good job telling the story, didn't I? Come on, praise me. Jiangbai seemed a bit saddened by the story too, but seeing my enthusiastic demeanor, he smiled and applauded. Very well done, but maybe, just maybe, the little fox did it willingly. If given another chance, the fox would make the same choice. I chuckled and said, but if they had never met, the little fox could have lived a happy life without any pain. Why meet the Little Prince and start suffering? Jiangbai, do you know, in our future, you were only truly happy for a few scattered years. I fell ill, and you alone bore the burden of expensive medical bills and the heavy responsibilities of our family, even giving up your career prospects to take care of me. And after I died, while my soul hadn't fully faded, I watched you mourn by my grave, living under the shadow of my death, suffering year after year. You could have had a happy, beautiful family, and an enviable life full of joy, but your remaining years were spent mourning my death. Even the heavens pity you. giving you a chance to choose again in this life. I've already held you back a lifetime, I can't be so selfish to hold you back another. Pretending to be tired, I closed my eyes and leaned back in the chair. Jiangbai, at least this time, I must let you find happiness. By then, I might just be a stranger in your world. Silently, I will watch you move towards a bright future, watch you find new love, watch you build a beautiful family, and then I will smile peacefully as I pass away. And you won't need to remember me, you just need to move forward, don't look back. Unaware, I fell asleep on the bus. When I got off, I noticed my classmates looking at me with a hint of amusement. Li Zhuxin quietly came up to me and gave me a thumbs up. Jiangqing, you're awesome. Me, you fell asleep on the bus and kept calling Jiang by husband while hugging his arm, crying and shouting. Me, help, this is a disaster. Li Zhuxin added in detail. Jiang Bai's ears were bright red. And it took him a long time to calm you down before you finally slept peacefully. Now I know why Jiang Bai's ears were so red. It turns out I was harassing him. I was so embarrassed I could hardly breathe, wishing I could just disappear into a crack. Lu Yuan came over to comfort me. Qing, it's okay, it was just a dream. I wanted to cry. After the group gathered to listen to the guide talk about the basic culture of the old town, we were allowed to explore in groups of 4, me, Lu Yuan, Jiang Bai, and Li Zhuxin ended up in one group. Help, what a mess. The old town was beautiful, filled with ancient charm, decorated with many elements of ancient style. There were distinctive ethnic shops and stalls on both sides. Rich in cultural atmosphere. Along the way, Lu Yuan pulled me along, laughing and talking, while Li Zhuxin and Jiang Bai followed behind, silent. Suddenly, Lu Yuan, clearly interested, pulled me over to a stall. Upon closer inspection, I saw that the stall had a sign reading wishing pouches. Below it, in small brush-written characters, all your wishes will come true. The stall was lined with rows of tiny, thumb-sized silk pouches, exquisitely cute and available in various colors. Each was delicately embroidered with the word wish, the craftsmanship impeccable. The stall owner greeted us warmly, and seeing that the prices were quite reasonable, we each decided to buy one without much hesitation. With a bright smile, the owner handed us paper and a pen, explaining, write your blessings inside this pouch, hang it on your mobile phone, and your wishes will surely come true. After all, good days come from hopeful beginnings. Struck by inspiration, I suggested, since we're all gathered here by fate, why don't we write blessings for each other? Everyone agreed happily. Lu Yuan seemed to blush slightly, thinking of something. I playfully gestured to Li Zhuxin, saying, Li Zhuxin, let's write together. Li Zhuxin, no, I have this chilly feeling behind my back, it's kind of creepy. Me, of course, I couldn't tell you that it's because Jiang Bai is staring at you with a cold gaze. Suddenly, Li Zhuxin said, Lu Yuan, why don't we write together? Without hesitation, Lu Yuan agreed. Sure. I was baffled. Darling, this was a perfect opportunity for you and Jiang Bai to get closer. Just then, Jiang Bai slowly pulled me aside and said softly, Jiangqing, let's write for each other. Remembering the look in Comrade Jiang Bai's eyes just now, I nervously nodded in agreement. The owner cheerfully handed us small slips of paper and a pen. As I picked up the pen, I hesitated. On my deathbed, I had said to Jiang Bai, I really hope we could grow old together, living a long and lasting life. Now, after some thought, I solemnly wrote on the slip, wishing Comrade Jiang Bai a harmonious marriage, a smooth life, and endless happiness. As the black ink seeped into the paper, I carefully rolled up the slip, placed it in the pouch, and exchanged it with Jiang Bai. Then, I carefully hung the wishing pouch Jiang Bai gave me on my mobile phone. The ancient town was filled with so many novelties. Eventually, Lu Yuan and I switched into full shopping mode. Jiang Bai and Li Zhuxin followed behind us, carrying bags both big and small without complaint. The result of such indulgence was that as soon as we got on the return bus, I was completely exhausted and fell asleep on Jiang Bai's shoulder, all the way back to school. Fortunately, I didn't talk nonsense in my sleep this time, but the real excitement was yet to come. The joy of the autumn outing was fleeting, and the pressure of studies was eternal. Chewing on the end of my pen, I was completely stumped by the exercises in front of me. After all these years, my high school knowledge had long been returned to the teachers. I approached Li Zhuxin for help with the exercises, and he rolled his eyes. Come on, big sis, see if my king's seat is good enough. Why don't you go find Jiang the scholar? Me, I had specifically waited for Jiang Bai to be called to the teacher's office before coming to you. Li Juxin sighed. You and Jiangbai have been off lately. If you want to avoid him, then go find Yuan Yuan, calling me big sis and her Yuan Yuan. Suddenly, it dawned on me, right, how could I forget Sister Yuan Yuan? I immediately planned to ditch Li Juxin, but he also grabbed a workbook, saying, I have questions too. Meeting my incredulous gaze, he sheepishly said, what? Only you're allowed to strive for excellence and not me. Me, man, something's off with you. Together. We went over to Lu Yuanyuan's seat, but as she saw us approaching, she immediately covered her face. Seeing her unusual behavior, I asked in confusion, Yuan Yuan, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Upon hearing this, Li Juxin's tone also turned anxious. What happened? Where do you feel uncomfortable? Do you need to go to the infirmary? The moment he spoke, cheers erupted around them. The class representative explained. Lu Yuanyuan chose dare and has to hug the first boy who talked to her for 10 seconds. Lately, the students in the class had become hooked on the quick and exciting game of truth or dare. As soon as it was break time, groups formed to play, filling the air with laughter. Suddenly, Li Juxin blushed and stuttered. Is that so? Lu Yuanyuan nearly shrank into herself like an ostrich, amid the teasing from the classmates. At the crucial moment, Li Juxin awkwardly and as if marching to his doom, bent over and gently hugged Lu Yuanyuan, then said, All right, I urgently need to go to the bathroom, let's end it here. Watching him flee the scene, I couldn't help but scoff. Li Juxin, who usually acts all high and mighty, just couldn't handle it when it mattered. As the classmates were setting up another round, Lu Yuanyuan slowly lifted her head, her face red, and said, I'm out, you guys continue. Oh come on. We were just having fun, keep playing, Yuan Yuan, forget it, look at how shy Yuan Yuan is, let's not force her, maybe someone else can take her place, it's no fun with fewer people. Hey, Jiangqing, are you in? I was about to refuse, but Lu Yuanyuan was tugging at the hem of my clothes, looking at me with pleading eyes. Me, alright then, I took Lu Yuanyuan's place in the game. A pen was placed on the ground, and whoever it pointed to was the unlucky one. The first few rounds were uneventful, but you can't walk by the river without getting your shoes wet. Eventually, the pen pointed at me. Calmly, I said, I choose dare. Truth or dare is never truly about truth. Drawing a card, profess your feelings to your desk mate in 10 heartfelt sentences. Me, is it too late to drop out now? I silently prayed that Jiangbai would come back later. Ideally, the teacher would keep him until after class before he returned, but, lo and behold, Jiangbai appeared at the classroom door a few minutes before class. As soon as the Dare Games hero appeared, the whole class fell silent. I nervously stood up from my seat. My heart began to pound faster and faster, as if thousands were drumming loudly inside it, the sound loud and urgent. It felt like countless birds swooping over the sea at high speed, all soaring towards the sky, followed by a towering tsunami that engulfed me, leaving me struggling to breathe in the sea. In the silence, Jiangbai walked towards me. I was somewhat dazed, almost seeing his figure overlapping with the college student Jiangbai we would be together in the future, the Jiangbai in his wedding suit, and the Jiangbai who takes off his coat and gently smiles at me after work. Finally, Jiangbai stood in front of me. He quietly asked, Jiangqing, why is your face so red? Is my face red? I slowly realized, feeling as if my face was on fire. It's okay, it's just confessing to my husband again. Damn it, it's not okay at all. I swallowed, trying to pinch my fingers behind my back to keep calm, and said with a trembling voice, Comrade Jiang Xiaobai. He gently hummed in response. I bowed my head slightly, trying to appear indifferent, but my voice trembled uncontrollably. I like you. I really like you. I like you very much. I like you a lot. You're my favorite. In this world, you are my absolute favorite. I like you the most. I really, really like you so much. I couldn't tell if my voice was choked up. I just kept speaking, feeling a mix of excitement, sadness, and sorrow swirling inside me. I tried my best to keep my expression normal and my tone steady. A torrent of love threatened to overwhelm me, my feelings deafeningly intense, but I had to mask them under the guise of a joke. I could only use the simplest of sentences to encompass a love that once vividly existed, which now only I knew about, a love that spread throughout my life. The whole class erupted, with whistles, cheers, and applause mingling and soaring endlessly. It was then that I heard Jiangbai's gentle voice, firm and clear, I like you too. My heart skipped a beat, and I suddenly looked up to meet his clear gaze, which only reflected my figure. The bell rang just in time, drowning out his voice. This was a confession heard only by the two of us. Throughout the class, I couldn't calm my emotions for a long time. In contrast, Jiangbai next to me was extremely serious during the class, taking neat notes, which made me feel both relieved and somewhat resentful. Just when I thought this matter had quietly passed, and I was about to hastily flee from my seat after class, Jiangbai caught me. Jiangbai, where are you going? Me. To ask a question. Jiangbai, ask me. Me. Oh. Suddenly I need to go to the bathroom. Jiangbai, I'll go with you. Darn it. With things having come this far, there was no escaping anymore. I resigned myself and sat back down honestly. Jiangbai looked at me and slowly said, you heard what I said just now, didn't you? I pretended to be oblivious. Ah, what did you say? It's about me saying I like. I heard it, I hastily replied. My heart just having calmed down couldn't start racing again. Jiangbai quietly watched me. So. What do you think? I struggled to say. Jiangbai, I like someone else. The things I said just now, it was because I lost at truth or dare. I don't mind. You like him, I like you. Jiangbai's tone was light, as if commenting on the nice weather, but his right pinky twitched fiercely. What if I said I've always seen you as just a buddy? Jiangbai's smile froze on his face. Jiangbai, why do you have to demean yourself like this? A pang shot through my heart, and I forced a smile. Jiangbai, think about it. There are so many girls who like you. Why hang yourself on a crooked tree? You can't give up a forest for one tree. Jiangbai shook his head, looking straight at me, his tone even carrying a hint of pleading. They are all nice, but they are not you, she said. Sigh, what do you see in me? I'm noisy, restless, and have a bad temper. Jiangbai cut me off, his tone firm and unequivocal. You are perfect in every way. I wouldn't choose them. I would only choose you. I clenched my fists, lowered my head, my nails digging into my flesh. Finally, I spoke softly, but I won't fall for you. You're not my type. Jiangbai turned pale in an instant. He tried to muster a smile, but it was like a candle flickering weakly in the storm, struggling to stay lit. I can wait for you. Just remember that I like you. Don't feel burdened by this. I just want to be by your side. That's enough for me. I really won't bother you, truly. Whenever you think of me is fine. His eyes reddened as he spoke gently, cautiously. Is that okay? Seeing his appeasing smile and his unconsciously trembling hands, my heart was filled with a bitter sweetness. Jiang Xiaobai, how could I harden my heart again to say no good? If only I weren't plagued by a genetic illness. If only I could stay healthy and be by your side throughout life. How wonderful that would be. Pain spreads between us, scorching us both. This conversation ends in nothing but mutual destruction. Just then, Lu Yuanyuan came to my rescue, looking embarrassed. She said, Qingqing, I need a favor from you. Lu Yuanyuan took me to the rooftop. Yuanyuan, did you say you like Li Zhuxin? Lu Yuanyuan hurriedly gestured. Qingqing, keep your voice down. I quickly covered my mouth, catching her shy, evasive eyes, feeling like the world was spinning. Wait, isn't this going off script? What about your undying love for Jiang Xiaobai? Your devotion to no one else but him. I thought I was playing matchmaker. Turns out I'm trying to break you two apart. Thinking of Li Zhuxin's usually irreverent and carefree demeanor, and Lu Yuanyuan's gentle, demure nature, I was shocked. Yuanyuan, what do you see in him? In a soft voice, Yuanyuan said, Qingqing, do you remember those girls who bullied me? Not long after that happened, I saw Li Zhuxin threatening them, telling them to behave and not to hurt me again. He looked so cute when he was fierce. She giggled softly, a girlish charm about her. I fell silent. Li Zhuxin doesn't usually meddle in others' affairs. Could it be that they both secretly have feelings for each other? And in my previous life, the bullying Lu Yuanyuan faced was also quietly resolved. Could Li Zhuxin have been involved then too? Right, I remember. There was no news of Li Zhuxin getting married in my past life either. I feel like I've uncovered a significant secret from my past life. But it seems like he doesn't like me. Lu Yuanyuan's eyes slowly reddened. He wouldn't even hug me more today. Does he, perhaps, really dislike me? Maybe he stood up for me just because we're classmates. Oh no, the beautiful girl is about to cry. I hurriedly said, of course not. He's not blind. How could he not like such a cute girl like you? What if he really doesn't like me? Then he must be truly blind. Lu Yuanyuan, sobbing, wiping her tears, Lu Yuanyuan said, I want to ask him out to talk. But I'm afraid he won't agree if it's just me. Qingqing, can you and Jiangbai come along? Me? That's a bit difficult. Lu Yuanyuan, with a look of pitiful hope. Alright, for my sister's sake, it's not impossible. 3 days later, me, Lu Yuanyuan, Jiangbai, and Li Zhuxin stood at the entrance of the amusement park, the same old formula, the same old battleground, but with entirely different relationships. When riding the roller coaster, Lu Yuanyuan, Li Zhuxin. Ha 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 ha, me, woohoo, Jiangbai. When in the haunted house, Li Zhuxin, please don't scare me anymore, I beg you, Lu Yuanyuan, it's all fake, don't be scared, me, child's play, not thrilling enough, we could add some fake blood here. Hang a dummy there, Jiangbai, Qingqing, don't wander off, be careful not to get lost. When playing the escape room game, Lu Yuanyuan, it's hard to find the props, Li Zhuxin, where is this clue, and where is that one, me, my brain can't keep up, someone help me, please, Jiangbai, I'm on it. Before we knew it, it was already evening, Halloween is just around the corner, and the amusement park is fully immersed in the festive spirit, adorned with pumpkin lanterns, skeletons, and other spooky decorations everywhere. There are various NPCs and performances organized throughout the park. Li Zhuxin and Lu Yuanyuan are having a blast and want to stay for a performance before heading home. She winked at me subtly, and I quickly understood, taking Jiang Xiaobai with me to step outside, giving them some time alone. The streets are bustling with people, their faces painted, wandering around in all sorts of bizarre and ghostly costumes. Jiang Xiaobai and I aimlessly wander through the chilly wind. Suddenly, a girl walking towards me catches my eye with the star-shaped lamp she's holding. The palm-sized, three-dimensional star emits a soft, warm glow in her hands, looking like a gentle little star held amidst the darkness. Following my gaze, Jiang Xiaobai spots the lamp and looks around, then points to a small stall on the right side of the street, saying, "It looks like it's from there. The area is crowded." But Jiang Xiaobai tells me, "Wait here for me. I'll go get one for you." I obediently stand still, watching him make his way through the crowd, his white down jacket and handsome face standing out. As he is paying, a girl dressed as an elf approaches him with a bright smile, gesturing animatedly at him with a lively and radiant demeanor. It seems Jiang Xiaobai smiles back and chats with her. Many people turn to look at them, naturally drawn by the attractive picture they make together. I watch this scene quietly, then send Jiang Xiaobai a message. "Jiang Xiaobai, I want to wander around by myself for a bit, don't worry about me." I think it's good for Jiang Xiaobai to meet other girls since Yuanyuan has someone she likes now. I wander aimlessly and somehow end up back where Lu Yuanyuan and Li Zhuxin are watching the performance. Unexpectedly, in just a short time, they are already holding hands. Seeing me, Lu Yuanyuan quickly lets go. Me, sorry to interrupt, as I turn to leave. Lu Yuanyuan rushes over to stop me. Me, I didn't see anything. Lu Yuanyuan, it's okay if you did, I confessed to Li Zhuxin, and he agreed right away, happy as a fool. I laughed too. Really, congratulations, Yuanyuan, young people these days sure move fast. Yuanyuan, all smiles, suddenly says to me, "Qingqing, you need to hurry up too." Me, I sincerely wish you and Jiangbai the best. I awkwardly smile, about to speak, when Lu Yuanyuan gestures for silence and whispers, "Qingqing, don't worry, Jiangbai definitely likes you. Do you remember that autumn trip? Li Zhuxin told me that when you fell asleep on the bus, you talked in your sleep, asking Jiangbai, 'Honey, what should we name our child?' And Jiangbai tenderly replied, 'Let's call them Yuanyuan, something full and complete.' After that, I couldn't hear anything else Lu Yuanyuan said. It felt like I had been struck by lightning, standing there stunned. The world around me seemed to wobble. As I was transported back to that moment, 'Honey, what should we name our child?' Lying in the hospital bed, I asked Jiangbai, who was leaning on my belly listening to the baby's movements, gently caressing my belly. Jiangbai smiled and said, 'Let's call them Yuanyuan, something full and complete.' As a family, we lived our lives well. It felt as if my oxygen was suddenly snatched away, and I struggled to breathe deeply. Suddenly, I noticed the wish pouch tied to my phone. Intuition told me that the truth of everything lay here. All the absurd doubts and guesses in my heart could be resolved in the moment I untied it. With trembling hands, I slowly opened the pouch and pulled out a small piece of paper. Because my hands were shaking so much, the paper fell to the ground several times. I squatted down to pick it up and slowly unfolded it. The handwriting of Jiangbai Shuling came into view. "I hope to grow old with Jiangqing, to live a long and lasting life together." This was my last wish before dying. This was not a wish that the current Jiangbai should know about. Suddenly, tears uncontrollably surged up, and I stood up and rushed outside, my eyes blurred with tears. Scenes flashed before my eyes. The bubble gum Jiangbai gave me, his sudden ability to blow bubbles, his focused gaze watching my wounds, the sadness while listening to the Little Prince story. Jiangqing, can you take good care of yourself? They are fine, but they are not you. I like you too, I don't mind, you like him, I like you, I just think, being by your side is enough, it's all I need, I really won't disturb you, really, whenever you think of me, it's okay, maybe the little fox would willingly choose this, if given another chance, the little fox would make the same choice. I ran until I was exhausted, panting heavily, but I gathered all my strength and kept running forward without care. Jiangbai's figure appeared before me. He was waiting for me at the designated place, holding a bright star lamp, standing alone in the crowd, waiting persistently. I rushed into his arms, tears streaming down. Jiangbai was startled, and frantically asked what happened, what was wrong. I pressed his head down and kissed him passionately amid the tears. He was taken aback, then kissed me back even more fiercely, hugging me as if he wanted to merge me into his bones. I said, "Husband, let's never be apart again." Something cold dripped onto my face. It was Jiangbai's tears. Like a child, he cried uncontrollably in that moment. As you wish, wife, extra, previous life. In the 4th grade of elementary school, we got new neighbors next door. A young couple moved into the new house with a fair and delicate boy, about my age, curiously standing at the door. I saw the boy struggling with a large cardboard box about to fall, and quickly rushed to steady it. Our eyes met unexpectedly behind the cardboard box. And I gave him a sweet smile. The beautiful woman next to him sighed in relief, wiping the sweat from her forehead, and smiled warmly at me. "Oh, little sister, thank you so much," she gently said to the boy. "Jiangbai, aren't you going to thank her?" His name was Jiangbai. I stared at him intently, thinking to myself how incredibly fair he was. Unexpectedly, Jiangbai quickly concealed the surprise on his face, becoming distant and indifferent as he lightly said, "Thank you." The woman showed a look of disappointment, but still smiled to comfort me. "Little sister, Jiangbai didn't mean it, don't be mad at him." It was only later that I learned, 3 months before moving, Jiangbai had witnessed his beloved grandmother being fatally struck by a drunk driver right in front of their home. The tragic accident had dealt a heavy blow to Jiangbai. Since then, Jiangbai no longer wanted to get close to outsiders. His parents decided to move to help him escape that environment and bury those memories. At that time, I was unaware of all this. I just thought, wow, he's so cool and aloof, and he's really handsome too, being so young, how could I resist such beauty? I flashed a big smile and said carelessly, "It's okay, he's so cool and different from anyone I've met." Jiangbai. Jiang's mother said cheerfully, "Really? Then you should come and play with Jiangbai more often. I hope you two can become good friends." The cultured and refined Jiang's father also smiled and gently asked, "Little sister, what is your name?" I proudly replied, "Jiangqing." Jiang as in the general hiding in the bushes, Qing as in the grass that's very green. Jiang's mother burst into laughter and said, "That's a very creative introduction." Jiang's father also laughed, and then said mysteriously, "Together with Jiangbai, your names could form an ancient poem." He recited slowly, "In the early morning alone by the tower, the autumn clarity washes over, mountains green, clouds playfully shaping, as the breeze begins with Jiangbai, the heart follows the leisurely sandbirds, eyes watching the sailing ships, facing the scene, thoughts linger on people, gazing across 1,000 miles." Jiang's mother playfully scolded, "There goes the university professor." Caught up in his old habits again, they exchanged a smile. Later, I indeed became a frequent visitor to Jiangbai's home. Life was tough for my single mother and me. Jiang's parents were very understanding of my mother's difficulties, so whenever she couldn't look after me, they warmly welcomed me to their home. Over time, our families naturally grew close. Jiangbai and I naturally became classmates. After all, the only elementary school nearby was the one I attended, and fortunately, Jiangbai ended up in my class as I had hoped. At that time, Jiangbai's aloof, distant demeanor intimidated many classmates and sparked much gossip. Luckily, I was talkative and thick-skinned, ignoring others' strange looks and staying by Jiangbai's side. I knew that Aunt Jiang and Uncle Jiang hoped Jiangbai would have friends. I also hoped that by doing so, I could help him open up a bit, even just a little, to repay their kindness. After all, I liked Jiangbai a lot. On our way to and from school, Jiangbai walked in silence, and I would keep talking. When doing homework together, I would gently ask him about problems I couldn't solve. If any boy in class dared to challenge Jiangbai, I would stand up to them fiercely. Whenever my mom bought me new snacks, I would share them with Jiangbai. time seemed to fly by. Then one day, Jiangbai asked me, "What's the point of doing all this?" I was puzzled and asked, "Point?" Jiangbai quietly said, "A person can suddenly leave forever, just like my grandma did." Jiangbai has always been a smart kid, grandma's little darling. His kind grandma, who would gently stroke his head and give him snacks, had suddenly left without any warning. He knelt beside his blood-soaked grandmother, crying heart-wrenchingly, repeatedly calling, "Grandma, wake up, please wake up." But he knew clearly that his grandmother would never wake up again. What about the other people around him? If you build deep connections time and again, only to have them leave time and again, and experience that sorrow over and over, what's it all for? It was too painful. He didn't want that. He was precocious, facing the painful realities of life and death at a young age, yet, he was also naive, not knowing how to cope with it all. I didn't understand why Jiangbai would ask such a question, but I felt I needed to respond. Otherwise it would be too awkward for him, so I said, "Well, my dad has left me forever. He was a policeman and died in the line of duty while my mom was still pregnant with me. I know it's impossible, but I always fantasize about meeting him just once. It wouldn't be a long meeting. We'd probably only exchange a few words, just enough for him to see what I look like. It would be great if he could hug me. I know it's unrealistic, and that meeting wouldn't change anything. Probably wouldn't mean much either. No matter what, my dad is gone. And all I can do is take good care of my mom, study hard, and later on, take her out to enjoy good food and fun times. Why think so much? Just cherish the present. If you're sad about your grandmother's death, I'm here for you, right? I should be able to live a very long time." I rambled on, but Jiangbai ultimately didn't say anything. However, the persistent coldness in Jiangbai's heart eventually began to fade layer by layer. At that time, Jiangbai wondered if some people, despite knowing the end, still yearned to meet. He thought he and Jiangqing could go a long way, for a long time, but time seemed to pass quickly, and adversity struck unexpectedly. The joy of confessing his feelings successfully, the sweet reluctance of being deeply in love, the cherished promises made at their wedding, the considerate partnership in running a family, those wonderful days were vivid in his mind, making the diagnosis particularly bitter. He was a doctor, fully aware of how incurable Jiangqing's illness was. Originally, he wanted to be a doctor to lessen the grief of being separated by life and death in this world. He saved many people, yet ironically, it was because he was a doctor that he now realized more clearly that his beloved, in the prime of her life, would soon leave this world. Night after night, he reviewed countless documents, secretly consulting numerous doctors with Jiangqing's medical records, though the outcome was clear. He tried to overturn everything he had learned, just hoping for a slim chance for his beloved, and as Jiangqing ultimately passed away during the first snow, leaving with their child into an eternal sleep, the vast world turned uniformly white. People cheered for the auspicious snow, but his world lost all its color. Later, Jiangbai curled up in front of Jiangqing's grave during a heavy snow, resting his head on the cold tombstone, gently murmuring, "Didn't you say you would be with me for a very long time, Jiangqing, you liar?" Indeed, that was the case. Every scene evokes a person. We gaze across 1,000 miles. Jiangbai often thought, if there really were a next life, would their story be different? If he could see Jiangqing again, if there were ifs. Jiangbai's eyelids grew heavy, and the snow fell thickly upon him as he closed his eyes wearily. "Now, solve this problem. You have 5 minutes, a robust voice announced. Jiangbai suddenly opened his eyes. He looked up dazedly. The stern math teacher stood at the podium, and a high school workbook lay before him. His classmates were all writing furiously, the surroundings eerily silent, everything so real it seemed unreal. Jiangbai could only hear his own racing heartbeat. He sat rigidly, unable to move, fearing to disturb a beautiful dream. He rigidly stared at the math problem in front of him. If this were high school, then the person who would be sitting next to him now would be Jiangqing. His eyes suddenly moistened. He silently took a few deep breaths, trying to calm his trembling body. It felt like a century had passed before he slowly turned his head to meet the intense gaze of the girl next to him. Those eyes, which he hadn't seen in a long time, were clear and focused on him. For a moment, Jiangbai wanted to hug her tightly, but his excitement caused him to fall off his chair instead. Bang! Laughter erupted around the room, and the classroom atmosphere suddenly became lively. There were concerned voices from classmates and teachers, but Jiangbai seemed not to hear them. Those sounds felt distant. All he saw was Jiangqing's bright smile. "Jiang Xiaobai, am I that scary?" Side story. In this life, what, doctor? You're saying it's impossible for me to have ALS, could you repeat that? I stared wide-eyed, incredulous and a mix of shock and joy as I looked at the female doctor. The female doctor said impatiently, "You've asked too many times. We have professional medical equipment and doctors. If you don't believe it, you can go to another hospital for another check. But I assure you the result will be the same," she sighed. "Do you think you're opening a mystery box? ALS isn't something you can just randomly get." When Jiangbai led me out of the hospital, I was still in a daze. Jiangbai gently shook my hand. "Snap out of it," I blankly said. "Jiangbai, how is this possible? Did we not only travel through time but also transform completely, or do we have some sort of superpowers? This world is too fantastical." Jiangbai shook his head. "I'm not sure either. Maybe we've come to a parallel world where you don't have the genetic disease. Or perhaps it's some other cosmic mystery that we can't understand." He smiled. "But regardless, this is good news for us. We should cherish the present." I nodded vigorously. "You're absolutely right." As we walked down a sparsely populated path lined with ginkgo trees and covered in golden leaves, I felt uplifted by the beautiful scenery and too lazy to think about complicated matters. I became excited. "Wow, Jiangbai, I just thought. What if the university entrance exam questions in this world are the same as back home? If they are, we could really hit the jackpot. But I can't remember much, can you?" I regret not paying more attention to lottery information in my past life. Maybe I could have won a few billion by now and just relaxed for the rest of my life." "Jiangbai, do you still want to be a doctor in this life? Or do you want to try a different career?" "I definitely won't choose last year's major again. It's like repeating high school. I definitely want to change it." Jiangbai. I talked on and on while Jiangbai held my hand and quietly listened. "Jiangbai, be honest, were you jealous when I said I like Li Zhu Xian?" I leaned against his arm and blinked at him. Jiangbai flicked my forehead and coughed lightly, his eyes dodging. "Not jealous." I expressed dissatisfaction. Really, that makes me so sad." Jiangbai lightly chuckled and coughed again. "Okay. Maybe a little, just a little. That still makes me so sad." I suddenly pulled away my hand and huffed loudly. Jiangbai stopped walking, looking around. There was no one in sight. Suddenly, he pulled me into his arms and kissed me. I embraced him willingly, savoring the tender, lingering kiss. It seemed as though a breeze swept by, scattering ginkgo leaves all around us. When we parted, a few leaves had fallen on our heads. We laughed as we brushed the leaves off each other and then continued walking hand in hand. Jiangbai looked at my blushing ears and teased, "Even after all these years, a kiss still makes your ears red." I retorted, not without displeasure. "And after all these years, you still get jealous without admitting it." Jiangbai chuckled. "Alright, I admit, I do get very jealous." At that moment, he thought, even if Jiangqing really fell for someone else, he would be content to silently stay by her side. He was only afraid that someone might not treat her well and let her down. He also worried that someone might not know how to care for her when she was ill, possibly abandoning or hurting her. The idea of his treasure in someone else's hands was always nerve-wracking. He feared they might handle her carelessly. He always felt that he was the best protector for her. Fortunately, he was still the one by her side. The road stretched out before them. They had a long life ahead to walk together. Jiangqing suddenly spotted a small orange cat ahead and excitedly ran over to crouch down, giggling foolishly as she softly said, Hey kitty, what are you doing here all alone? You might run into weird sisters like me, you know." The cat meowed affectionately and lazily rubbed against Jiangqing's legs, making her scream excitedly at Jiangbai. Jiang Xiaobai. It's so cute." Jiangbai watched this scene from a distance, his heart warmed by a gentle, enduring softness. Jiangqing waved at Jiangbai with a smile and called out, "Jiang Xiaobai, come here, quick." Jiangbai smiled softly and walked towards her, saying gently, "Yes, coming." No matter how time changes or circumstances evolve, the little fox always waits for that person to return. Just like them, as long as she is there, he will always walk towards her. Story 2, Add Me on V. The Memoir 66618, more great book recommendations in my moments, including daily headlines and monthly subscriptions on Jihu. Search by name to see full chapters. Me, perfectly performing the clichés of exciting stories __ little lamb skewers. Jiu Sherba. Romantic ambiguities arose between the childhood friend and the school tyrant's stepmother. Their affair was unexpectedly revealed, leading to the tragic death of the school tyrant's stepmother. Years later, the childhood friend achieved fame and success. The first thing he did was pour scalding oil down my throat, torturing me to death. Only then did I realize, after he knew of my secret crush, he believed I had deliberately betrayed him, ruining his love. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day I discovered their affair. Song Yanli sat in front of me, calmly reading my diary. Every line, every page, recorded the bitter secrets of my youthful crush. As he reached the end, his eyes cold, he kicked me in the abdomen. Jing he. Being liked by someone as despicable as you is truly a mockery. The sudden pain made my body arch, agonizingly, yet I was unable to scream. Before this, Song Yanli had poured burning hot oil into my throat, rendering my voice useless. Breathing, which sustained life, became a cruel torture inflicted upon me. My painful expression greatly pleased Song Yanli. He gripped my chin, his voice sinister as a snake. Jing he, it was bad enough that you liked me, but why did you have to use such vile methods to break up me and Ali? Why go and inform on us? My Ali was so beautiful, yet because of you, she ended up disfigured. I stared at him in disbelief. So, this is why he was taking his revenge on behalf of Liu Chu. Song Yanli and I were childhood friends. Once, when he had a fever, I went to deliver medicine and accidentally discovered him and Liu Chu sharing a kiss. At that time, I was still secretly in love with Song Yanli. When I learned they were together, my first reaction wasn't shock, but panic. Song Yanli was still a student. If people found out about his affair with a married woman, I couldn't imagine the rumors that would follow. Moreover, Liu Chu was no ordinary woman, she was the school tyrant's stepmother. What if this ruined Song Yanli's future? I couldn't bear to see him fall from grace, so I earnestly advised him to think of his future. However, Song Yanli took this as a badge of unwavering loyalty, bragging about it to Liu Chu. They flaunted their love in front of me. Love cannot be concealed forever, and half a year later, their affair was exposed. Liu Chu was brutally beaten by her furious husband, her right face scarred by glass shards. Unable to cope with the assault, she committed suicide. Being a student, Song Yanli narrowly escaped the consequences. Regarding this matter, Song Yanli and I have clarified it countless times. He believed me too. I thought he believed me because we were childhood friends, knowing each other's true nature. Only now do I realize that Song Yanli never truly believed me. He was merely waiting for his chance to take revenge. When my parents found me, I was already a cold corpse in the morgue. Song Yanli knew exactly how to destroy a person. He purposefully had a gang abuse me and filmed it. After my death, he spread the video online, paid people to slander me as attending debauched parties, implying I got what I deserved. My parents, having to bury their child, faced scorn from others. They were devastated, aging a decade overnight. In the deep of the night, holding my memorial tablet, they wept inconsolably. I watched as they lost their jobs, sold their house and car, living day to day on bread and pickles. 12 years after my death, my file was sealed in a brown paper bag, tucked away in a corner of the police station. No one cared. Yet they tirelessly strove to uncover the truth behind my murder. The night before the truth was revealed, Song Yanli paid a visit. My parents warmly welcomed him, grateful for the physical evidence he had sent. It was not until they drank the drugged wine and their consciousness began to blur that Song Yanli revealed his true colors. With a mad gleam in his eyes, he proudly played a video of my final moments in front of them. Fools, did you really think I was helping you covertly for no reason? Of course, it was because I am the murderer. Watching you scurry around like sewer rats over the years has been quite entertaining. Song Yanli took pleasure in performing a reenactment of my struggle and despair in front of my parents. These secrets, only the dead can keep. Laughing, Song Yanli left after setting fire to the house, destroying all the evidence. However, Song Yanli was unaware that his crimes were being broadcast live to the public through a hidden smartphone inside the house. Amidst the roaring flames, my parents slightly smiled, holding my memorial tablet close. Hee, don't be scared, Mom and Dad are coming to find you. A year ago, my parents had already discovered the truth, but Song Yanli was wealthy, and rashly accusing him would have been futile. Determined to face death, they planned this deadly trap today. They feigned cooperation with Song Yanli, letting him grow complacent, clarifying the past. The live broadcast of the arson had a huge impact, and Song Yanli, with his heinous crimes, was sentenced to death. But Song Yanli spent a fortune hiring the most famous legal team in the industry. Under the onslaught of money, his death sentence was reduced to life imprisonment. For the powerful, life imprisonment is no different from being set free. Song Yanli only served 3 years before he was released. Fortunately, karma exists. A month after his release, Song Yanli was stabbed to death by a deranged person with mental illness. Upon reopening my eyes, I was reborn. Tears welled up as I looked at the familiar surroundings. My mother's nagging was in my ears buzzed. The bed was only 3 meters from the door, yet I stumbled as if I had been running for a lifetime. My mother, not understanding, touched my forehead. Are you feverish too? My mother was strong-willed, my father gentle and loving. Normally, I wouldn't act so affectionately with my mother. She took out a thermometer, asked me to place it under my arm, and felt somewhat relieved when she saw there was nothing wrong. The flu is severe lately, take care of your health at school, don't let it affect your studies. Here, take this medicine. Weren't you fussing about Xiao Yan having a fever yesterday? Her words made me suddenly look up. I remembered which day I had been reborn to. Today was the day I discovered the flirtation between Song Yanli and Li Yuchu. That scene, I could never forget. Li Yuchu leaned on Song Yanli languidly, asking him, "Who do you think is prettier, me or this girl?" Song Yanli, feverish and delirious, looked at her. His slow response displeased Li Yuchu, who bit his earlobe. "Do you want this girl, or do you want me?" Back then, I had a crush on Song Yanli and was both angry and annoyed, dropping the fever medicine and hastily leaving. This time, I still went to deliver the medicine, but deliberately took a long detour around the neighborhood. After seeing the familiar figure of Aunt Zhang at the south gate, I snapped back to reality. Aunt Zhang was a notorious gossip, unable to keep a secret, and knew everything that happened in the neighborhood. Seeing me with the cold medicine, Aunt Zhang expressed her concern thoughtfully. Upon learning that I was preparing medicine for Shiryan, she complimented us, calling Shiryan and me a golden boy and jade girl. Yes, Shiryan. At that time, Shiryan hadn't yet changed his name to Song Yanli, which he adopted after recognizing his ancestry. When Shiryan changed his name, I asked him, why choose the name Song Yanli instead of just Song Yan? Yanli implies separation. I want to say goodbye to my unbearable past. Back then, I naively thought he was referring to his past of being mistreated and labeled illegitimately. It wasn't until the day I died, when Shiryan went mad in front of me, that I truly understood. The Li in Song Yanli is from the initial sound of Li in Mandarin, chosen to remind me of the hatred before Li's death. Aunt Zhang and I chatted casually. As we said goodbye on the gravel path in our neighborhood, I slipped and fell to the ground. It had just rained the day before, and the path was slippery, so the fall was not unexpected. Seeing this, Aunt Zhang hurriedly helped me to the clinic in our neighborhood. Fortunately, it was just a sprained ankle, which would heal with a week's rest and wasn't serious. As the doctor was reminding me of the medication precautions, I stood up, ready to leave. No, I still need to deliver medicine to Shiryan. He's such a good student. If his fever turns him into a fool, wouldn't I be ruining his life? The doctor scolded me. Can't someone else deliver the medicine? Seeing this, Aunt Zhang volunteered bravely. It's just a box of medicine. You rest and heal. I'll help you. I whispered my thanks, my lips curling into a smile. After dinner, Aunt Zhang knocked on my door with a mysterious look on her face. She wasn't very adept at using the chat function on her phone, so she relied on direct conversation. Seeing me there, Aunt Zhang signaled with her eyes, and my mother quickly urged me to go back to my room to rest. Through the closed door, I could still hear the excitement and annoyance in their gossip. Unlike the simple, ambiguous kissing of past lives, this time, with my deliberate delay, Shiryan and Li Yuchu engaged in deeper communication. That boy Shiryan is still feverish. Goodness, couldn't he wait for the fever to subside before carrying on? Aunt Zhang, outraged, slapped the table as she spoke. Realizing I was still there, she lowered her voice. If others were to walk in, they might leave out of courtesy, leaving a way out for the two. But Aunt Zhang, having been let down by a scoundrel in her youth, easily empathized with her former self based on my performance at the clinic. Moreover, Shiryan's ambiguous partner was Li Yuchu, someone Aunt Zhang had feuded with early on, with new grievances adding to old. How could Aunt Zhang let things slide, since in a past life, Shiryan had pinned the blame of leaking scandals on me? In this life, I would fulfill his wishes and blow things out of proportion, making it known to all. After Aunt Zhang left, my father came to my bedroom. Let's not hang around Shiryan too much in the future. That boy is not okay. My father didn't expect my ready agreement and left, laughing, unable to contain his joy. Wanjun, I've talked to and you can't go back on the 100 yuan you promised me. Smiling, my father went out to claim his reward from my mother. Because of the sprain, I took a week off. Every day, I would look out the window. From my bedroom window, I could clearly see Shiryan's movements. In a past life, I would count down the time to go downstairs, just to casually bump into Shiryan waiting for the bus. Shiryan was a good student and handsome. He's tall and a favorite among the aunties. Every time I went downstairs, he was always surrounded by people. Now, Shiryan is still surrounded by ladies, seemingly unaffected by his popularity. It's no wonder, after all. When it comes to matters of men and women, it's usually the femme fatale who gets criticized. After I could walk again, I returned to school. High school was hectic, and within a week, my desk was piled high with test papers. I focused on sorting them out, with no time for anything else. During the break, my classmates gathered around me, eagerly inquiring about my injury. In the midst of our conversation, Shiryan came up. Shiryan has been acting strange these past few days. He hasn't been to school. Did something happen? I wasn't surprised. After being seen by Aunt Jean that day, almost everyone in the neighborhood knew about Liu Chu hooking up with a man. Given Shiryan's romantic nature, I guessed he went to comfort Liu Chu. I echoed a few words and dropped the subject. I saw Shiryan again a month later. There was a hint of fierceness in his eyes as he approached me. Lin Jinghe, come out for a second. I need to talk to you. Oh, I'm very busy. I don't have time to hang out with you. Shiryan was annoyed, but he held back since we were in the classroom. The bell rang, interrupting what he was about to do. Throughout the day, he persisted, asking me repeatedly to come out. My desk mate couldn't take it anymore and secretly passed me a note. Shiryan rarely asks you for anything, just go out with him. Shiryan was a top student with good looks and always had admirers, but over the years, he had never been involved in any scandals with female classmates. Even the teachers didn't consider him a priority for monitoring early romantic relationships, especially since he had publicly rejected the school beauty's confession, mocking her bluntly. I wouldn't date a girl who fails in math. Shiryan and I had similar academic achievements and grew up together, so when he rejected her, almost everyone thought he was indirectly confessing to me. They thought we weren't together because we adhered to the high school rule against early romances. But no one expected that Shiryan wasn't interested in girls his age at all. He liked older women like Liu Chu. Thinking about this made me feel nauseous. My desk mate sensed my attitude and said nothing. But I never expected Shiryan, that despicable jerk, to stoop to such a low level. On my way home, while I was still pondering my revision notes, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in the back of my neck and fell to the ground. When I opened my eyes, I was faced with Shiryan's disgusting face. My hands were bound, and I was lying in an unfamiliar warehouse. Shiryan stood in front of me, grabbing my neck. Lin Jinghe, it was you who sabotaged, making people catch me and Ollie, right? If it weren't for you, Ollie wouldn't have been ridiculed and cut ties with me. His eyes were wide and frighteningly red. Indeed, I had used Aunt Zhang. But in this life, I never appeared at Shiryan's house, yet he blamed me. Could it be that Shiryan had also been reborn? Isn't it natural to be mocked? What right do you have to lash out at me? I couldn't help but mock him in return. Shut up, you wretch. Shiryan slapped me across the face. Luckily, I was quick enough to dodge. If he wanted to hit me, I wasn't going to make it easy for him. I kicked forcefully, hitting Shiryan in the abdomen. Caught off guard, he fell to the ground. Seeing him in pain eased the frustration in my heart a bit. It's a pity my legs aren't longer and more flexible. A few more inches would have been better. My actions infuriated Shiryan. He spat out blood and walked towards me menacingly. The man before me overlapped with Song Yanli, who had tormented me in the past. Song Yanli wasn't the sensitive and proud Shiryan. He was sinister and ruthless, showing no mercy. He grabbed my hair and slammed my head against the wall. Jinghe, do you know Wang Ershao? He asked. Wang Ershao, of course, I knew him. He was the mentally ill man from our neighborhood. They say he used to run a bun shop, but after his wife ran off with someone else, he couldn't handle the shock and went mad. I stared at Shiryan in disbelief. Seeing my reaction, Shiryan laughed even harder. Jinghe, what does a bachelor who hasn't touched a woman in over a decade do when he suddenly decides to indulge? Does he even know where to start? With a rip, Shiryan tore my clothes. Enjoy what's to come, Jinghe, he said, as he opened the warehouse door and let Wang Ershao, who had been waiting outside, come in. Then he left, swaggering out the door. With a clang, the door was locked. This time, I had miscalculated. I hadn't anticipated Shiryan's resurrection, nor had I imagined he would go to such insane lengths for revenge. The resurrected Shiryan, a longtime holder of power, was arrogant and self-assured, but I was confident I could outwit him. The key was escaping from Wang Ershao. In the dim warehouse, Yan had left behind a flashlight. This was not out of kindness. Knowing I was afraid of the dark, he was worried that the deranged Wang Ershao might not find me. I gripped the flashlight tightly, smashed it, and picked up the shards of glass to slowly cut through the ropes binding me. The warehouse was eerily quiet, the heavy breathing of a man the only sound. Ignoring the blood from my chafed wrists, I quickened my pace. Finally, the rope was severed, but Wang Ershao had located me. I had only run a few steps when he grabbed my ankle. Chuckling, he pounced, "Hee, let hubby give his wife a kiss." I struggled with all my might, but I wasn't strong enough to contend with a mad adult male. Luckily, fortune favors the brave. I found a rock on the ground and knocked Wang Ershao unconscious with it. After he was out, I stacked some wooden boxes to reach a higher position and smashed the warehouse's window to escape. Before Yan left, he took my phone, leaving me unable to call for help. It was a dark, windy night, with heavy shadows from the trees along the road. Every sound made my heart race with fear. What scared me more was the feeling that someone was following me. In that moment, I ran faster than I ever had before. But the person behind me was even faster. Before I knew it, I had run into a dead end. The person was closing in, and I gripped a brick tightly in my hand. "Lin Jinghe, are you okay?" A somewhat familiar voice reached my ears. I paused for a moment, recognizing the name from my blurry memory. "Shiyubai, why are you following me?" Shiyubai touched his nose and said, "Following you? I was just curious. Why were you not heading home late at night and coming out from my family's warehouse instead?" It turned out that was Shiyubai.